Nigel, you've now had more time working directly with your backroom staff and players. What are your reflections on your first week in charge?
Yeah, it's good to reflect back. It's obviously been a busy week. We've gone from a challenging situation. We're mindful of somebody having lost his job, but everybody has applied themselves in the right manner. And I must say, the first thing that I've got to say for my reflection is we've got good people here at Tranmere Rovers. We've got good, genuine, honest, hard-working people who care, who want to do well. And I think that's been highlighted so much through the course of the week, where everyone's going, right, what can I do to help? Do your job to start off with, but what can I do to help? How can I assist? And I think that's that coming together, that belonging, that spirit of everyone going, come on, right, we might have our backs against the wall, but I'm looking shoulder to shoulder and I'm going to do everything I can to do the best for Tranmere Rovers Football Club and my teammates and my colleagues.
What have you learned from the conversations you've had so far this week?
Well, what I've learned is that obviously it's been a challenging time. Confidence can be low because obviously the results haven't gone our way, and people can feel a bit isolated and a bit lonely. We've got to belong in here, right? So things might be going against us a little bit, but it's going against all of us. It's an us, it's a we. Feel safe in knowing that we're all in this together and we're all going to do everything. And again, just highlighting to everybody that you have got good attributes. You've got excellent attributes. We are good at doing things. And it's just trying to give the players and the staff and everybody belief at what they're good at. Likewise, without hiding away from that, listen, we need to improve on this. There's a way and a manner of doing that. So it's a learning environment that we've got to keep getting better. So having that willingness to want to learn is the first thing. Having that open mindset, that growth mindset, if you like, wanting to be able to take information on board and see if we can improve every day as much as we can. But the first part of the question, we've got real good people here at Tranmere Rovers Football Club.
So yesterday you were at the ground and you made the effort to go and see the staff who work in the office based at the ground. How important is it that they also feel valued in part of the success here at Tranmere Rovers? Very
much so, Hannah. I've done it, obviously. I think you're aware of that. I've quite often popped into Prenton Park, although we're on split venues. Here's at the campus in New Brighton. Wallasey, is it New Brighton or Wallasey? Yeah. So we're at the campus here, and obviously everybody works at the stadium at Prenton Park. I've tried to nip in and just engage with everybody because it's an us. We all have a belonging. We all have a role to play. However small people might think that is, it's a role to play, and it's invaluable for all of us. As you say, for when we bring the success, when we've all got this success together, everyone say, well, I've played my little role on it. It's not about one. We can't do it on our own. Everybody has a role to go and play and feel valued. So for me, I think the most important thing you can give somebody is time. So if I can go out my way to just go and say hello to somebody, that's my little way of just showing somebody that I care for them, I value them. And then what can I do to help? But it's great, it's good to see people. As I say, we are all hurting at this moment in time because we're not where we want to be in the league. Things have just gone against us, but we'll turn that round. How long will that take? Time will tell, as they say. But everyone wants Tranmere Rovers to do well, and we've got good people, and we need to look after everybody who's here.
How much have you enjoyed being back out on the training pitch?
Well, obviously it wasn't anticipated. I had to find some kit and boots on Monday morning when we came in here because I've not had a pair of boots on for a couple of years. But you're asking me the question. I've got to be really empathetic, and I am, because I've been in a situation. Somebody's lost his job. A good person's lost his job. And that affects him and his family. And we've got to do right by him to help him through the situation. And I'm sure that'll happen. And I've got to lift the players and the staff up and everybody by being here, but just by being me and being consistent, because everyone's that little bit of uncertainty. Well, what's happening? We don't know what's happening. People get lost. No, there's a structure. There's an organisation, there's a belonging. This is us. Feel safe by being with us and not being isolated and thinking on your own. So that's one thing. Have I enjoyed being on the pitch? That's where I've been from my whole life. Since I started here 42 years ago as a 16-year-old when I joined Tranmere Rovers straight from school. So I'm used to being out on the pitch and being in a football environment for my whole life, and I love it. It's one of them things that I've been very privileged and honoured to have been able to go and do. I'm privileged and honoured to be in this situation and just have a role to play at Tranmere Rovers Football Club. My hometown team, the team I support, the team I made my debut for, and the team that I've always kept an eye out for. And so being out there, and again, I'm just being me. How can I help people? You know, as I say, we put a structure in place, speak to the individual, so build a team, develop the individual. And that comes with engaging with people and talking and just going, I've got a lot of experience, so how can I share that? How can I pass that on? You know, we've got a young Josh Hawkes as an example, you know, similar ilk, maybe different wings, to Jared Bowen, who's at West Ham or had a Hull, you know, loads of different players, midfield. So how can I help is what I'm doing. And answering your question, I've loved being on the grass. I've loved being part of the team. I've loved the engagement and trying to put the structure in place. So I've really enjoyed that, although in circumstances that we didn't want to be in and circumstances that I didn't anticipate being in.
Are there any specific areas you've focused on in particular in those sessions out on the field? I
think the first thing is obviously results have gone against us, and maybe the last couple of performances have been really challenging for us. So in this situation, it's kind of like basics done well to an elite level. So out of possession, so our KPIs, key performance indicators. So from a defence point of view, what's our structure? So giving people clear roles and responsibilities at certain times within the team, so we know that we've got a defensive structure to start off with, and likewise flip it, give the players the confidence and belief and the flair and the ability that they've got, and the passing ability and running ability and excitement that they've got when we get the ball and play from an attacking point of view.
We've clearly been affected by injuries in recent weeks, but how close are the likes of Harvey Saunders, Leo Connor and Luke Norris to returning?
I think the three of them, and we've got like Paul Lewis there, who he picked up a nasty injury at Fleetwood, and Jake Leake, who picked up his hamstring injury, so it's probably a little bit more of a long term. They're all desperate to get back and be involved. They're working really hard. We've got a real good medical team here, you know, and the medical, sports science, that side of it, they're getting taken well care of. And you know, they're desperate to get out there and be available as soon as they can, because they're hurting as well, because they're going, I'm not on a team, how can I assist, how can I help my teammates? That's what they're going. So for them, can you do everything you can to get yourself fit? As I said, Crawley, Liam, Odgie, Mark, just to name a few of the sports, the medical, the physios and sports scientists, they're doing a great role, great environment to help them with, you know, it's professional, it's organised. And again, keep going back to it, basics done well to an elite level. Give yourself every opportunity. And as I said, I'm really pleased with the way they've applied themselves. And the sooner we can get them back to add to the group that we've got, better for everybody, because we've got a big run of fixtures coming up. We get through, obviously, Saturday's journey to Crawley, then we got Accrington on Saturday, then it's Saturday, Tuesday. It's relentless. So we will get injuries, got to deal with it, but we need to make sure that we've got as many people available for possible as we can.
Talking of the squad, the transfer window is shut now, but there's still free agents available. Do you expect further player movement into the club?
That's an option that we've got available to us still. As you say, it's free agents you can still sign. We've had a couple of players in this week. We're going to get a few more players in, I'm sure. We are getting recommendations coming in all the time. With that, though, you've got the situation where the players probably haven't maybe had a pre-season, haven't been with the club, haven't been training, they haven't been having games. So therefore, if you do bring somebody in and he does impress, then the likelihood is probably not in a position and ready to actually go and play in the team at the moment and make an impact here at the moment. But it's certainly an avenue that we are exploring. You have to get the balance right, because sometimes you can have far too many people at the football club and people need to realise they've got an opportunity to go and play. But it is an avenue that we have been looking at. As I said, I've had a couple of players in this week who have done themselves no harm at all the way they've applied themselves. As I say, we've got a good recruitment team who are obviously actively engaged with that.
So looking ahead to the weekend, we take a long trip to Crawley. How does balance work between analysing the threats that they pose and opportunities we have to take in the game to them?
Very much everything you talked about there, Hannah, because we've talked about, for me, it's like Sun Tzu, the art of war. Know the opposition, before you got on the battleground. You know, there's loads. It's a great book. There's loads of different things you can take from it. But from my point of view, it's at this moment in time. Well, what are we? First and foremost, know yourself. Be aware of yourself. That's self-awareness. So what are we as individuals? What are we as a team? What's our identity? That's the first thing we've got to establish and make sure we've got that right. And then when we play the opposition, how our identity and how what we want to go and do can impact the opposition. Now we have to be respectful that I already know that the opposition that we're going to play at the weekend, Crawley, they've got massive threats the way they go and play. They're very good at what they do. They've done it for a little bit of time and they've been successful with it. And I know that they're going to present some problems for us. We've got to try and come up with solutions to that and deal with the situations that come our way. And we've got to deal with that. But flip it, what can we do when we've got the football then? How can we present situations and problems for the opposition, for Crawley, and maximise the strengths we've got? Because we've got some real good strengths at our football club, real good football players with good attitudes and loads of ability. And we just need to make sure we can extract every ounce of potential out of the individual, out of the player, out of the team, to give ourselves an opportunity to get the performance right, and then in them defining moments, stick it in one end and keep it out of the other.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Cheers. And just before we finish, Hannah, happy birthday.
Thank you.